Hi guys, welcome back to Forgetful Scholar, and this week we're going to chat about a book. Just one book. This isn't even the day I usually film. I just had a really quick move things around to fit you guys in because next week next couple days it's going to be crazy. There's it's just every appliance seemed to have broken down at the same time. So, and of course you have to call different people for different things. Anyway, this week is a romantasy, and it is The Knight and the Moth, the Stonewater Kingdom, Book 1 by Rachel Gillig, and it was published 2025 and 385 pages. This was 5-star. I freaking loved it. Also, can I just gush about the cover for a little bit? I love this cover. I would want this as a piece of art to hang on my wall. I mean, without the lettering, of course. Just every time I look at this image, it's like I'm looking at a whole new, I just discover a new thing that I love about it. It's so symbolic and I love it so much. Okay. Can I just say, and this is just the average book, it wasn't a special edition or anything, but look at the end pages and the foiling on the book. Gorgeous. So, let me go ahead with the synopsis. Sybil Dwelling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Like the other foundling girls who traded a decade of servitude for a home in the great cathedral, Sybil is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as the Omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk alike travel across Stonewater Kingdom's wind-swept moors and craggy mountains to learn their futures by her dreams. Just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at Cathedral, rude, heretical, and devilishly handsome. The knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's visions, but when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them. For the world outside the cathedral cloister is wrought with peril. Only the gods have the answers she is seeking, and as much as she rather avoid Roderick's dark eyes and sharp tongue, only a heretic can defeat a god. So this book was so good. So when I started reading it, I was devouring it until I think around page 200, I realized, oh, this is paced like a duology. Is this a duology? And then, yeah, it is. And so I started to slow down to savor it because I knew it was going to end on a cliffhanger, and boy, did it. And I'm like, oh no, I need to know what happens. This was the same thing with 6 of Crows, but thankfully I had Crooked Kingdom, so I could just jump right in. But I don't have The Knave and the Moon. The Knave and the Moon's not coming out till September 1st. I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be months. So we start off the book, the whole thing's in Sybil's point of view, but through all of the book, others call her Six because there's 6 diviners in the cathedral and they all go by numbers. She was told to forget who she was before. She doesn't really have much memories, but she remembers her name. And her name is really important to her, obviously, and she doesn't really use it till the end of this book. So I'm going to refer to her as Six for the most part, right? So not only was this book absolutely gorgeous, there were some quotes that I really loved and I want to share with you. So my favorite character is a gargoyle. I'll explain in a second, but the gargoyle said this: when you do the right thing for the wrong reason, no one praises you. When you do the wrong thing for the right reason, everyone does, even though what is right and wrong depends entirely on the story you're living in. And no one says they need recognition or praise or love, but we all hunger for it. We all want to be special. This is another thing the gargoyle said. Can you tell the gargoyle is my favorite? Anyway, he also said this: but if you wanted to, I would not blame you. It's easier to swear. It's easier swearing ourselves to something else, because then to sit with who we are without it. So, oh, gorgeous. So there's 6 of them and they all have different personalities, but we all know them from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? they're kind of cloistered off in this cathedral, but the girls, besides 6, and I think 1, figure out how to like break curfew and go to town and have fun, right? They all have shrouds over their eyes, and as the story progresses, you know why they hide their eyes, even if 6 doesn't know. The reader, we know what's behind those eyes as you read it. So to get these visions, they are literally drowned in this sweet rot smelling water. It's very visceral, and oof. The descriptions of this book are gorgeous. The one thing, because I don't want to give too much away, because it's not an old book. It just came out last year, and the new book's coming. I can't wait till the new book. Yes, it's a romantasy, and Roderick, or Rory, is obviously the love interest. He's pretty jerky in the beginning, but like he never gave me like red flags, right? Not once, which I enjoyed, right? Not that he was green flags or anything. He's just a complicated character. And when you find, because he hates the omens, and when you find out why, you're like, oh, fair. Like, it's not just like it's a very personal reason, okay? Because I want to give this a review without giving spoilers. Now, the cathedral has a lot of living statues or gargoyles, and there's one bat-like gargoyle that calls everybody Bartholomew. And he is wonderful. He is through the whole story. He stays with 6 the whole story. And he made me think of a court jester, but in their true role. So a court jester would, obvious comedy and you know, please the masses and make the king laugh and everything like that. But they also could poke at the king. Like, they're one person that could poke at the king, right? To punch up and get away with it. Sometimes that caused them trouble, but sometimes they could get away with it. But the thing about the gargoyle is that as I read those quotes, sometimes, very often, even though he seems very childlike and emotional and like a goofy goober, yes, I said goofy goober, and yes, that is the best way to describe this guy, okay? There are so much pearls of wisdom behind what he's saying. Even in throwaway lines that you think are silly, in the next page, you're like, oh crap, he called it, you know? So when you're going to this, enjoy the gargoyle for his fun and his comedy, but like, if you're like me, pay attention to what he's saying, right? And the story needed it because it's kind of dark, but I wouldn't call it like a grimdark or anything like that. But without the gargoyle, I wouldn't have enjoyed it this much. The writing was still incredible. The characters, complicated and unique. Rory shows up with a bunch of knights and the king, or boy king, Benji. And she has to divine for him. He also has there's also an older knight with him named Moth. I really liked her. She's definitely like the big sister mom of this motley crew. Now, what I really enjoyed was scenes that you thought were just to show like a growing connection between Rory and 6. But in the background, there are things being said or reactions happening that kind of hit my radar. I was like, oh, that's gonna come back and bite 6 on the ass. And it does, because there, at the very end, like last 3 pages, there is a betrayal, a twist. I saw it coming. And I don't think it's that big of a shock because, like I said, even in the beginning, moments between Rory and 6, there's something in the background, like a throwaway line, a reaction that was just off. And at the beginning, because I never read this author before, so I was like, oh, maybe it's just the author style and I'm not used to it. I could just be paranoid, which yes I am, but this is a separate conversation. But as the book progresses, especially as they go start to end their quest, it becomes more apparent what's going to happen. So it's not, for me, it wasn't a huge shocker, but I will say on page 358, I swear, this is a reenaction, I went, if I was wearing pearls, I would have clutched them. And do you know how like rare it is for that to happen to me? I was a god. Like, I was just flabbergasted. I was like, oh, no, I love this book. So I will leave that there because you guys should read it. And the thing is, like, I was really interested in this book, but it's one of those TikTok darlings, right? So that kind of put me off, I'm not gonna lie, because I have been burned by TikTok darlings before. I think this is the rare moment where, yeah, I agree, this book is phenomenal. I can't wait till the second half of the story. Oh, so yes, it leaves on a huge cliffhanger. So her sisters start disappearing and she has no idea what's happening. I will say, I was surprised by how many head wounds Six gets, like slammed to the floor, like passing out, like there's a lot. I was like, girl, you're probably severely concussed by now. You probably have like permanent damage. Whew. But you really like Six, because when you first start the story, she kind of seems very uptight, rigid, and as the story progresses, you realize how she made herself fit this mold to garner love from the abbess, who has been, you know, loving and withholding at the same time. I hated her in sight, but that's because, you know, I was like, oh, I don't know, is this just the writer or this abbess is purposely like emotionally manipulating them? So to find her sisters, she travels with these, the king and the two knights and the gargoyle, and they're trying to find her fellow diviners, but no one has seen them. Now, in the first town they go to, also I forgot to mention, the omens are coin, an inkwell, an oar, chiming wood, like a chiming wind chime, and a loom, and a moth, and they're all made out of stone, right? So, and there's 5 hamlets, even though there's 6 omens. So the 5 hamlets are ruled by these gods, kind of like those gods' territories. So the first hamlet, you know, it's like, oh, the only god humans worship is gold, you know. So I really enjoyed how the symbolism in this book could symbolize good and bad. It was very much the coin, like the flip of the coin, 2 heads of the same coin symbology was very heavy in this book, and I loved sinking my teeth into it. Each omen has like, oh, positive side and a very dark, very opposite meaning to it as well, right? And the people personification of the omens are not great. Not good. Not good at all. And that kind of spirals Six into a fast-track deconstructionism, right? Because she, ever since she was, I want to say like 10, because she's about, she doesn't know how old she is, because none of the girls remember before they woke up in the fountain. And they spend 10 years of their servitude, and 10 years is almost up, right? So Six is around 20, maybe 22. Rory says like, oh, you look up around my age and I'm 25 or something. So she's around there. So she spent 10 years, well, her whole life, because she doesn't remember anything but her name before that, in this religion, being one of the heralds of this religion. So when it turns out that religion isn't everything it's said to be, that there are some really dark, horrible things underneath it, she's kind of thrown. And I like that she is thrown. I like that in this book we do get her confusion, her anger about it. She's angry that the king kind of showed her the truth. She's angry that Rory is distracting her. And then like her grief, you know, and it is wonderful that we get to sit in it. And her grief isn't a pretty thing, right? And grief isn't a pretty thing. So I'm happy that we sit in this. Like, we are with her and we are brought on this journey with her. And For me, it made sense. It was perfectly paced for the story that it was telling. I was so annoyed that I realized it was a duology. I didn't have the second book, and the second book's not coming up for months. Because I would have dove right in. But, so they're on this journey, and she has to ask these personifications of the omens where her diviners are. And the king, because the omens, the symbols I told you have great power, right? And the king is gathering all these omens to take up what is called the mantle. And I was like, oh, that's not good. No, I don't think we want all these magical items to be wielded by one man, one boy king. I don't think this is a good idea, guys. Knock, knock, knock. I don't think this, oh, you're not gonna listen. Okay, yeah, because you're fictional and it's already been written. Okay, here we go. So there is that. Benji, for his part, the boy king, seems pretty young, innocent, kind. His journey is something else, and I don't want to talk about it. Maud is very much the mother, the big sister, the protector. Rory is her love interest. He is a jerk, and then he's not. He is the rebel, but for her, he would do anything. So it's, and the Gargoyle is the best. I love the Gargoyle so much. And, you know, she's basically searching for her sisters. But the king has other plans. Like, he's going to help her try to figure out what happened to her sisters, yes. But he is the king, and these 5 hamlets don't respect him because his grandfather, who was the king, was killed as a heretic. So they don't, it's a very religiously intense place, right? So they don't trust Benji. So, you know, politics is a lot about what you see and what you don't see, right? And diviners have a very high standing. So he's happy to help her because a diviner traveling with him shows that, like, the church is endorsing him, kind of a feel, right? Meanwhile, she just wants to find her sisters, right? And she's trying not to fall in love with Rory. There is one knight that I wonder what his role in the second book is going to be. So when they, the scene I mentioned where Rory, in the beginning of the book, where Rory and Six, it seems to be a scene just made to further their romantic interest in each other. They just met, they were jerks to each other, even though they're oddly drawn to each other. She basically blackmails them into taking her and her sisters into town, being their bodyguards so they can have fun, right? One of the knights that she's paired up with, she's mad at Rory, so she's like, okay, let's go to the woods and do it. It doesn't happen because, you know, he's like, oh, when people find, I can't wait till people find out I had sex with a diviner, and she stops it because consent can be retracted at any moment. You go, girl. So she does it because, you know, ew, he was just using her as a symbol, as an empty trophy, things like that. So stuff that she doesn't want to be, right? She wants someone to see her, not Six, but Sybil, you know? But through the whole book, like, he doesn't take, like, she said no, bro, and you keep hitting on her, and she keeps, like, rebuffing you. Like, take the hint. And I wonder what, I'm just talking out loud with you guys. Like, I honestly wonder what role he's gonna play in the second book, because this author doesn't seem the type to just throw out storylines and then drop them, right? They seem very methodical, very well thought out. So I wonder what role, because that boy, that knight, now I'm just theorizing, is super greedy. You know, he doesn't respect the king. He doesn't respect Rory. He's super greedy. And he's like a son of a nobleman, and is angry that Rory is like a foundling as well. And he's a knight, right? So I wonder what's going to happen in the second book with that guy, because it's not like the author used that character to make Rory jealous, which, yeah, and then threw him away. He kept popping up. Like, he's still in the story. He's like a third tier annoyance, but he's there. So, like, I really want to know what's going to happen in the second book. Like, I really want to know what role that little shit has for the overall, if anything. I hope so, because then, you know, it'll show that yes, this author is very methodical and very thought out in the little storylines, even third tier storylines they put out. But ooh, I so wonder what he's gonna, like, if anything, you know? That's what really gets me when I finish a book and there's like the next one coming out. I'm like, ooh, I wonder if this is gonna happen. I wonder what this is gonna happen. I wonder what Six is going to do. I wonder what the King's gonna do, what Rory's gonna do, what the Gargoyle's gonna do, what Moth's gonna do, what they're all gonna do. This random third tier knight, what he's going to do. That is the friggin' best, right? It really is. So they're on this kind of quest to find out what happened to her diviners. And as you go with her, no one's seen a diviner, so the reader, I feel like we kind of already know what happened before Six gets her answers, and it sucks. But again, we see her grief, her anger, and everything, and I'm happy the author didn't skip on that. I'm happy the author did that because it makes her feel like a person in this crazy, horrible, magic, dark world, but a person. It made her feel more grounded than most fairy tale stories, because like most fantasy, because sometimes, you know, not all the time, but sometimes when something bad happens to the main character, it's quickly glossed over, or it's quickly, oh, time skip and they're all healed or something like that. And this one just kind of lets you sit in the discomfort, and that makes great art. Okay. It just does. So can you tell I really like this book? I really did. I have to check out more from this author because I really enjoyed the writing. Sometimes an author comes along and they just describe a scene so much that you could see a painting just forming in your mind. And I freaking love that. Okay, I'm gonna go before I accidentally say something, and I don't want to ruin it for you guys, because if you haven't tried it, because it's a TikTok darling and you've been burned before like I have, try it. It's really good. Okay, I don't want to, but it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.